You walk into almost any big retail store, discount outlet, or neighborhood shop, and you'll notice the same repeating scene playing out every single day. The people who are under the most financial pressure are often the ones spending money in ways that quietly lock them into that pressure for years. This isn't about enjoying life once in a while or buying something nice on occasion. This is about a small group of spending habits that create a predictable, almost unavoidable loop of financial struggle. I've watched this pattern repeat for decades across different families, cities, and income levels. And the details change, but the outcome stays the same. The same purchases show up in the same shopping carts, the same bills stack up on the same kitchen tables, and the same stress returns every single month. What makes this especially frustrating is that most people were never taught why these choices hurt them so badly. No one explained that poverty isn't always caused by low income alone, but by how money is handled the moment it arrives. I grew up in a time when resources were scarce, but I learned early that the difference between struggling and building stability has very little to do with luck. It comes down to how you think about money. Poor thinking focuses on today only, what feels good right now, what relieves pressure in the moment. Wealth-focused thinking looks forward and asks what today's choices will cost tomorrow. Every harmful purchase you're about to learn about is a symptom of short-term thinking, not a personal failure. The good news is that thinking patterns can be changed, starting immediately. Once you understand why these habits are traps, they lose their power over you. By the time you finish this breakdown, you won't see these purchases as harmless or normal anymore. You'll see them for what they are, slow leaks draining your future. And when you understand the cost, you also gain the ability to choose differently and redirect your money toward long-term security instead of short-term relief. One of the most damaging financial decisions people make early in their working life is buying a brand new vehicle. It usually starts with good intentions. Someone finally lands a steady job, maybe earning $40,000 or $50,000 a year, and they want to feel successful, responsible, or rewarded. They walk into a dealership and sign paperwork for a car that costs almost as much as their annual income, stretching payments across 6 or 7 years with high interest. What isn't obvious in that moment is how quickly that decision erases future opportunity. The second a new car leaves the lot, a massive chunk of its value disappears instantly. Not slowly, not over time, immediately. Thousands of dollars vanish before the first payment is even due. Over the next several years, depreciation continues to eat away at the car's value while the loan balance shrinks painfully slowly. By the time the loan is nearly paid off, the car is worth a fraction of what was paid, and the owner has absorbed all of that loss. People who build wealth do the opposite. They allow someone else to take the depreciation hit and buy reliable vehicles that are a few years old, often at nearly half the original price. These cars still have many years of life left, but they don't carry the same financial burden. The real tragedy of buying new isn't the car itself. It's what the lost money could have become if invested. That difference, when compounded over decades, can grow into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Every time you avoid a large, unnecessary car payment, you create space for savings, investing, and breathing room. Transportation should serve your life, not quietly steal your future. Comfort, reliability, and function don't require brand new, and wealth rarely rides on 4 freshly detailed wheels. Few things exploit desperation more effectively than the promise of instant relief. Lottery tickets and payday loans thrive on the same emotion, hope without a plan. When money feels tight and the future feels closed off, spending a few dollars on the dream of escape can feel reasonable. But mathematically, these habits are devastating. The odds of winning large lottery prizes are so small, they border on impossible. Yet people with the least disposable income often spend a surprising percentage of their earnings chasing that dream. Over time, those small purchases add up to tens of thousands of dollars that could have been invested and grown steadily. Payday loans are even more destructive. They offer quick cash at the cost of outrageously high interest rates that trap borrowers in cycles that are nearly impossible to escape. What begins as a short-term fix often becomes a recurring drain, where fees pile up faster than the original debt disappears. People don't use these services because they're careless. They use them because they feel out of options. But there are always better alternatives, even when they feel uncomfortable. Asking for extensions, negotiating payment plans, requesting advances, or building even the smallest emergency fund can prevent falling into these traps. True financial progress doesn't come from luck or last-minute rescues. It comes from steady discipline and choosing systems that work in your favor rather than against you. Hope is powerful, but hope without structure is expensive. Real security is built slowly, intentionally, and with decisions that compound over time instead of resetting every 2 weeks. Some financial traps are dangerous precisely because they appear affordable. Rent-to-own furniture, electronics, and extended warranties are designed to hide their true cost behind low monthly payments. A couch or television advertised for a small weekly or monthly amount feels manageable, but when those payments stretch across years, the total price often becomes several times higher than the item's actual value. These businesses rely on customers focusing on immediate affordability rather than total cost. Extended warranties operate similarly, preying on fear of loss rather than likelihood. Most products either fail early when they're already covered or last long enough that the warranty expires unused. Meanwhile, the money spent on protection plans quietly disappears. A smarter approach is self-insurance, setting aside small amounts of money to handle repairs or replacements when needed. This keeps control in your hands instead of locking you into contracts designed to profit from your anxiety. Ownership matters. When you own something outright, you free up mental and financial space. When everything is financed, insured, or rented, your future income is already spoken for. Financial breathing room comes not from more credit, but from fewer obligations. Modern life makes it incredibly easy to overspend on comfort and convenience without noticing the damage. Premium cable packages, multiple streaming subscriptions, daily takeout, and convenience store purchases feel harmless because each transaction is small. But repeated daily, weekly, and monthly, these habits quietly consume thousands of dollars every year. Entertainment is important, but excess entertainment delays financial freedom. Paying for content you barely watch or food you could prepare easily is a trade-off, whether acknowledged or not. Every dollar spent on convenience is a dollar that can't grow. Rotating streaming services, cooking simple meals, and buying in bulk are not punishments. They're strategies. Wealth isn't built by eliminating joy, but by aligning spending with priorities. Small savings, when invested consistently, become meaningful security over time. The danger lies not in one coffee or one meal out, but in never questioning the pattern. All of these habits share one core flaw. They prioritize immediate comfort over long-term stability. That is the defining difference between financial struggle and financial growth. The key question is never, can I afford this today? But what is this costing me tomorrow? When you start viewing money through that lens, everything changes. The path forward doesn't require perfection or drastic overnight change. It requires awareness, honesty, and gradual improvement. Start by identifying which of these habits exist in your life right now. Track what you're actually spending, not what you think you're spending. Choose one habit to eliminate and redirect that money towards savings or investing. Automate the process so discipline doesn't rely on willpower alone. Over time, cut a second habit, then a third. Wealth is built through consistency, not sudden breakthroughs. It's the result of small decisions made correctly, repeatedly, over many years. The people who succeed financially aren't necessarily smarter or richer. They're more intentional. Every dollar is a vote for the future you want. Choose wisely, and over time, those choices will change everything.